Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for watching the video. Good to have you here. Welcome back to the garage. In this video, I'm working on another project right now, and I'm at a point in it where I need to pull the body off of the bug. So I'm gonna, rather than just pull the body off in that video and not show much of it, well, that is what I'm going to do in that video, but in this video, I'm going to take you through how I kind of designed the chassis around the body being able to come off, and then I'm going to take you through taking it off and putting it back on. First couple of things that I have to do to take the body off. I need to take the front clip off. There's a couple of aluminum panels on the inside that I need to take off. I need to take off the door bars. There's a bracket on the front of my body that holds, it's a support for the door. I need to take that off. And then there's probably a dozen bolts throughout the perimeter, both in the front, the back, and along the rocker panel that needs to come out. From the very get-go, when I was designing this bug, I knew that I wanted to make the body removable. I mean, most bug bodies are removable, but when you start putting in a roll cage and whatnot, some people weld the roll cage to the body and make it so that it's not removable, or if you do remove it, it's going to be a really big project. When I made mine, I wanted to make it so that I could take the body off. Number one, in certain situations, I just thought it'd be nice to be able to take the body off to work on the chassis. Number two, it allows me to run some of the roll bar really close to the body because I can take the body off and weld all the way around it. Number three, if I ever incur some damage onto the bug body, it's a nice option, I think, to be able to salvage my chassis and be able to just put a new body on it. First thing that, actually the first step I did in making it removable was where normally you would have the rocker panel on your bug, I installed this 3-inch by 2-inch by 14 gauge rectangular channel. Now, the way that this came about is the rocker panel on my bug, when I got it, was totally rusted out. It was just raw carnage. It was so rusty. And I had looked into pricing of replacing that and heater channel and new floors and all that. And really, to be honest with you, for my intentions, since I'm just going to be using it as a Baja and playing around, I found out I could just cut that rocker panel out really just by running a Sawzall blade right underneath the quarter panel here and right underneath the door pillar. Take all that out and then just put in this 3x2 rectangular channel. And the only thing I really had to do was I had to cut it here and notch it so that it bends, because it's not completely straight. But once I did that, I just welded the body to this channel. I haven't welded this solid yet, but it'll be welded to here. This is the door pillar on my bug. I custom made this door pillar because, again, my door pillar was completely rusted out. But on a regular bug body, you can cut the rocker panel off right there, just a little bit underneath the hinge here, and you can weld this tube right on there. So when I welded this 3x2 in place where my rocker panel used to be, it gave me a really good working surface to make the body removable, because what I did at that point is I fabricated this is a 1x2, and I kind of fabricated this like inner skeleton of the chassis out of 1x2 and 2x2. It comes 2x2 over here, and these are all tied in to the main tunnel here, and they're all welded to the main tunnel. So when you pull the body off, and you'll see because I'm actually going to pull it off, when you pull the body off, all of this stays in place with the aluminum floor and all that pulls off. Whereas like in here, I've got bolts in here. Here you can see there's a tab. There's 4 tabs on the body, so when you take all the bolts out, this is what keeps the body from falling through. This 1x2 and these 2x2s make up the, let's call it the interior chassis, and they're what keeps all of the rigidity and the structure when you take the body off, because when I take the body off, this 3x2 comes off, and so what you're left with is the 1x2. But I just made it so that the 1x2s and the 3x2 bolt together, so when the body's on, these kind of become one. In designing it this way, one thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to make your roll cage and really everything inside has to be skinnier than your rockers here. So if you notice, my roll bar at this point actually comes straight up. It starts to turn in here to follow the contour of the body, but going down here, it had to go straight. It couldn't come out this way at all because it had to remain skinnier than the 3x2 here. And everything that I designed on the chassis back here is designed so that it's skinnier than the 3x2 on the chassis, so that when you pick the body up, everything on the chassis side is skinnier than the body. The only thing that's wider on the chassis are the door bars. The door bars actually kick out a little bit. Number one, for a little bit of extra protection, and number two, for comfort, because they fold out here to give the driver and the passenger a little bit of extra room. What that does is it makes it so that you cannot pull the body off with the door bars on because they're wider than the body. So what I did is when I made these are actually bolted in place. I've got bolts here, got bolts on the bottom here, and I've got bolts that bolt it to the pillar and to the frame inside there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run around. I'm going to take the front clip off. I'm going to take some of the inside panels off. I'm going to take the door bars off. I'm going to run around and take all the bolts securing the chassis to the rocker panel. There's some bolts that secure the chassis to like the dashboard. There's a couple of bolts that secure the chassis to the rear apron. And then I've got a strip of bolts here that ties into where the upper seat belt would go. And this helps keep the body rigid with the roll cage. So I'm going to do a little time lapse of me running around and undoing all that. It usually takes about an hour to take all those out. Then I'm going to rig up some nylon webbing on all four corners of the body. And then up above the car there, I've got an electric winch mounted up in the ceiling of my garage. I'll run that down and connect it to the nylon webbing, and then we'll pick her up. I think I've got most of the bolts taken out of the body now. I'm gonna have to run around it once, make sure that everything's free and loose. And now what I gotta do is my hoist is in the middle of the garage, so I gotta shimmy the Baja Bug around a little bit so that it's in the middle of the garage, right underneath the hoist. Alright, so I've gone around the Bug. I'm pretty sure I've got every bolt taken out of it. I've wiggled the body around a little bit. It seems to be loose. I don't see anything holding it to the body. It seems to be just sitting on the 4 tabs that I told you about. Now what I'm going to do is bring the cable from my hoist down, and I'm going to grab some straps, and I'm going to wrap a strap around each pillar here and then hook it up in the middle, and then I'll have to do a little deal where I put tension on the hook and adjust all of them so that they're about equal, and then I can get ready to hoist it up. I just wanted to do a separate video where I show how the body comes off, how it goes back on. I wanted to show those 3x2 rocker panels because I've had a couple of people ask me about those, so I wanted to highlight that. I wanted to make sure I showed you guys that there's bolts all the way around securing it, and that there's some fastening points higher up on the roll bar to keep the body and all that tight. I think I covered all that stuff. So thanks for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.